want to talk about the mindset of losing a woman and why that doesn't actually exist. I don't really believe that your mindset should be that you have ever lost a woman. I don't believe I've ever lost a woman. I believe I've moved on from women. I believe that I've realized that women don't match up with my goals, my temperament, my lifestyle, the things I need and want in my life. I even believe I've probably not given certain women the best shot that I could. But to say that I've ever lost a woman, that doesn't really compute to me. See, the mindset that I have when it comes to women, by the way, I have a girlfriend and she's also going to see this. So I'm not speaking from the standpoint of some single guy who just gets to say whatever he wants and there's no repercussions. The stuff I say, it has to be true and I have to be able to stand on it. And my girl's a smart girl. She understands me very deeply as well. So that's why I believe I have the liberty to speak freely and talk about these things. And some of these topics we actually discuss in person. But like I was saying, I don't believe you lose a woman if you have the right mindset. Even if a woman moves on, if she walks away, if she decides that your life and your goals don't align with her, you haven't lost her. It's not a loss for you. If you're a man who's on your purpose, you're doing the right things, you're putting the right things on your schedule, you're heading towards a goal, you're climbing the right ladder, not just heading in some direction just because you feel like that's where you should be heading, but you actually took time to get to know yourself, to know that this ladder is the one that I need to climb. You don't lose anybody on the way because that's the ultimate goal. And when I say know yourself and picking the right ladder, that's one of the hardest things a man can do is to pick the right ladder. You could climb a corporate ladder for 10 years and get to the level of a CEO and then realize that's not what you wanted. You could get married, have two kids, white picket fence, $3,000 mortgage in a nice gated neighborhood, and then realize every day when you get off work, you don't want to go home. You got to really, truly, deeply spend time with yourself, hugging yourself, feeling yourself, your emotions, and deeply thinking about what you need in the moment, how that translates 20, 30, 40 years down the line, and what you might need then, how things may change. It's a lot to consider. But if somehow you end up getting to the point where you truly understand that this is the path I want to go on, and you start climbing that ladder, and as life changes and your emotions adjust, you leave room to make adjustments. And maybe you're still climbing the same ladder, but you move it a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right to adjust with the things that you learn, to adjust with your temperament, to adjust with life's lessons. You don't lose anybody on the way. I've walked away from friends, best friends, friends of 15 years. I filed for divorce. I've even, to some degree, had to release myself of identifying myself as a father and wrapping my identity around my children. I unwrapped that. I'm not my kids. They're their own individual people. My happiness and myself is independent of that. You don't lose people when you think like me. You really don't. I would like people to come along for the ride. I love deep and I love strong, but nobody has to stay because I know at the end of the day, I'm climbing this one particular ladder and it's not a journey that anybody else is on. I don't need to call it a spiritual one. I don't need to call it a monetary one. I don't need to call it anything that anybody else identifies with. But what I do know is that this ladder is the ladder I need to be climbing. And it's solely tied to my happiness and the way I believe a man should live and the way I believe I should live based on my temperament, where I'm from, the things I want in life and out of life, my belief systems. All of those things contribute to why I chose the ladder that I chose. It's not possible for me to lose a woman. It's possible for me to say things and be misunderstood by a woman to the point where she leaves, to not say the right words at the right time, maybe to give her a reason to think that somebody else will treat her better than me. But at the end of the day, when she's actually gone, I didn't lose her. I believe that being with me is a privilege and an honor, and being on this journey with me is a blessing. That's what I believe. And that's how you should look at yourself. And every woman should look at themselves that way as well. Everybody should have this feeling of appreciation and love for themselves to where they're glad to give themselves to the people around them. I believe my friendship is a gift to those around me. That's why I guard it so tightly. That's why I'm super careful about who I add to my friends list. Everywhere I go, I can tell that people want to know more. They're interested. They want to figure things out. They want to see what I do on the weekends. They want to take a piece of what I have, take some of that light. Not in a negative way, by the way. They're just interested. It's natural. Sometimes I see people and I'm like, that dude look like a cold dude, man. That dude looks cool as hell. But I leave him alone because I know the way I am. I don't necessarily want to be bothered, and I think things come to you when you just kind of chill on them. But everybody should have that mindset. You don't lose anyone. You don't lose a woman. Being with you is a blessing. If she walks away from you, you have to know and you have to truly believe that at the end of the day, it is truly her loss. It truly is. And you don't get to fake that. You don't get to act like you think it's her loss. And then you go look in the mirror and you know she's going to do better than you. You know she's going to be able to find somebody who works harder than you, with a stronger mindset than you, with a deeper love than you. I don't believe that. I tell my girl that one of the reasons I want her to stay with me is because I don't believe anybody's going to be able to love her the way I do. And I don't love her in no type of way that's some type of weak love. I love her in a way of accountability. I want her to be her best self. I want her to maximize her life and be the best possible person that she can be. That's my goal for me. That's the same exact goal I have for her. And I understand what comes with that. I understand that not everybody wants to maximize themselves. And I'm not saying that she doesn't. I'm just saying that when you think like me, you have to really consider that not everybody's going to be able to hold on to that for the entire time. Not every woman's going to want to be held accountable. I'm reading this book called Let Them, and I'm learning so much about it and so much about how I've tried to control so many different situations, wasting so much energy on stuff that I could have just let happen. I could have just let them. I could have just let them be distant. I could have just let them walk away. I could have just let them show me who they are. Instead, I tried to help them. I tried to figure out the words that they were trying to say, adjusting their sentences for them, mid-argument and mid-conversation to save them from themselves and their own sharp tongue. Well, from now on, I'm going to let them. I'm going to try to. I'm not perfect. I understand my flaws, but the purpose of this video was to let you know that with the proper mindset, the proper self-love, the proper picture of exactly where you're going, you don't lose people on the way. You don't lose people on that path. Everybody on that path with you is supposed to be appreciative that they're along for the ride, helping you on a journey, or appreciative that you're helping them on their journey. Because by nature, you should be a person who wants to offer help. Love is not words, love is action. Love is a verb. It shows up in tangible acts that you do for people or do with people. So never think you're losing anybody. Never think you're losing a woman. Know where you're heading in life. Be detached from the situation, at least as a mechanism of safety, so that you can continue on your path and continue to chase your goals. Take a couple days off, shed a couple tears, but you didn't lose nobody. Every single loss is a gain with the right mindset. Every single negative thing that happens to you is a positive thing. If you just think about it in a positive light, you spin it and you say, man, this is tough right now, but what is the lesson in this situation? And adjust. Let them.